How's it going, you guys? Matt the Health Home Inspector coming at you live from our studio up in Hartford, Wisconsin on the 30th of May. We have a beautiful guest host today. How are you doing, babe?
I'm doing good. It's just weird to be on this side.
Yeah, you're normally over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, today I have my lovely wife, Tami, in here talking to us. We're going to have a good conversation about a number of different topics that are going to be hopefully tantalizing to our audiences. Tantalizing things? I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah,
but it's all good.
Either.
Hopefully it will get them interested. Better way of putting it.
Different.
All right, let's get into our defect of the week. So the defect of the week this week, we're going to be talking about mold. Okay, we've been coming across a lot of mold issues, and it's kind of we'll say it's a dirty word, right? And a lot of people. It's a dirty
little word, but it is used for good things too.
It's used for good things too. We have a whole video out there about educating everybody about mold. Okay, but mold, as it is a dirty little four-letter word that we don't like to necessarily speak of. It is something that is reality. I mean, mold is everywhere. It's just a matter of the concentrations, type of mold, all that kind of stuff. There is mold spores all over the place. Okay. Now the problem with mold comes in when it's in concentrations and it is in a type or a species or whatever of mold that is harmful to human beings. And lots of times the biggest risk with mold is related to allergies and allergic reactions to things. Okay. Now, when it comes to these allergic reactions, they can be severe. Like, they can cause people to go into anaphylactic shock. They can cause people to have major brain problems and things like that. They can cause all kinds of other issues with breathing and respiratory problems, and all kinds of stuff can come from being allergic to mold. Now, the majority of our population is not severely allergic to mold. So these things that we're talking about, these severe reactions, are not going to be the majority of the population. Approximately only 3% of our population, 3% of our population actually suffers from severe allergic reactions to mold, where they need to take special concern and caution. Okay.
And if we find mold, there's ways of taking care of it.
Yeah, it's easily addressed. Yeah, there's all kinds of solutions. I mean, we had a little bit in the home when we first moved in, up in the bathroom, because they hadn't been ventilating properly, and that we took care of some bleach and water, right? And then we painted the area, ventilated the area a little bit better, added another bathroom fan in, added a bigger bathroom fan in.
Yeah.
And
made sure it was vented out of the attic. We did check the attic, because that's where most of the time mold can happen, is in the attic when the bathroom vent is not vented outside. It's vented into the attic space instead, and then the moisture holds in that attic space, and then mold just grows, and it's not good.
Somebody's been paying attention behind the computer over there.
I don't just produce, I'm learning along with this.
Yeah, so not venting all of your moist air from bathing and things like that, getting up into the attic, and then the air not being ventilated out of the attic as readily as it should be is one of the most common places we find it. That, and in basements where moisture is just rampant. So, as far as mold goes, you guys, it's something that you want to be aware of, especially if you have any specific allergies to it, okay? But it's very easily treated. If you have a little bit of mold in the basement, you have a little bit of mold in the attic, it can always be treated. Now, you don't have to use bleach and water. There's one of the probably most common professional product that is used out there is called RMR. And RMR, you can get it, you can buy a jug on Amazon if you want to, but you just spray it on and it kills all the mold spores and stuff like that. But the problem you have is if you just treat the mold, you don't treat the problem's going to eventually return. Okay.
There's a question.
So somebody's asking, Miss Kelsey Martin. Hi, Kels.
Hey, Kels.
We
as far missed as you this weekend.
Yeah, the bleach and water thing is the simplest and easiest way that with things that you normally have in your home to treat and get rid of mold. But you always got to make sure it's 2/3 water, 1/3 bleach. So 2/3 water, 1/3 bleach. If you just put straight bleach on it, you could be overcoming the area and stuff, and it isn't necessarily good for you to do that. You also, when you're working with bleach and spraying it and things like that, probably want to wear a respirator, and you also want to wear goggles, not glasses, goggles. Okay, the goggles are meant even you could put even in swimming goggles on if you want, but you don't want to keep that bleach out of your eye cavity. Okay, and the respirator is to keep any of the bleach from being sucked into your lungs and stuff. It's just not a good way to go about maintaining your personal health. So breathing in bleach and getting it in your eyes. So just take personal precaution when you're doing that. And you would basically will spray it on the area, and the mold spores will change color. They'll go clear, which is their inert form when they're not dead. If you're seeing black and gray stuff, those are dead mold spores that have already had their lifespan depleted. But the great thing about the bleach and water is most people have it in their home, and it's readily accessible and it's easy to clean up. You just got to make sure that you're not spraying it on areas that you don't want to get bleach on, because it will still bleach colors and things like that. That is the quickest and easiest way to address mold. But remember, addressing the mold is great, but you got to address the problem that caused the mold in the first place. You have to do one and then the other. You can't do them in the opposite direction. So
yeah, you got to find the cause. Fixing it is one thing, but finding the cause to remedy it so it doesn't keep growing back is the main thing.
Yep. Now the Save a Buck this week. Save a Buck this week comes from, I was talking to somebody on the phone or whatever, and they had a huge outrageous water bill, and the water bill basically was they couldn't explain it. They didn't know what it was causing it or whatever, and it turns out it was their toilet was running all the time, and the toilet was putting a lot of water through the system, and then when you talk about your water bill, that's also your sewer bill, so they had a huge bill. And it's not what they want to have to pay every month. So we kind of helped them. They gave them some tips on getting to the bottom of that. We've talked about checking your toilet for leaks. Basically, just take some food coloring in the tank of your toilet and let it sit for an hour. If the inside the toilet bowl becomes colored like the tank water is in that hour, then you have a leak at your toilet and you need to get that repaired. All right. The quickest and easiest way to check if you have a leak in your house and check the entire house at once, okay, is by checking your meter, okay? So at your water meter downstairs in your basement, okay, assuming I guarantee some people are on a well and they're not going to have a meter, okay? But on your meter down the basement, there's going to be some numbers going across. Now, the numbers, even though you have a small leak, the numbers may not move fast, okay? So what you do is you take like a Visivise marker, something you can wipe off, and you mark where the line of the number is, okay? And then in an hour, you come back and see if the numbers moved at all. As long as nobody used water in the home, the number should not have moved. It should be right where you drew that line. And if it's there, you don't have any leaks, okay? If it's moved, well, then you have a leak and you got to find it. You got to get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, you're paying for water and sewer when you don't necessarily get to use any of it. It just goes right out the drain right away. So a quick, easy tip to help you save a buck. And you should let that sit and test for about an hour, all right?
Even a small drip from the faucet we have downstairs in the basement. We left the faucet just had a slow drip. We keep meaning to replace it, but it just has a slow drip. And there was 1 month of it. Obviously, we hadn't been down in the basement in a while and that kind of thing. And I looked at the bill and I'm like, have you been watering the lawn again? No, there was no watering on the lawn. And we found out it was just a slow leak in the faucet.
Drip. Yeah. So
be careful
I did turn off that valve and have bought the faucet. Putting it in is another story. It's still sitting on the counter downstairs. Yes. But entertainment season comes this fall, so we'll probably have it in
Football
by then.
Season.
But the next thing we're going to get into is Tami and I are going to have a discussion. Now, Tami, one of her roles, and Tami has a lot of little hats that she wears, okay? One of her roles is she, as her creative element, besides the YouTube stuff that she does now, is Tami is also owner of a photography company.
Yeah.
And it's called Elite Exposure, and Tami does real estate photography. She does some for fun photography that she likes to do.
That I just put out there for quotes and different things that I design using Adobe products. And then being FAA certified as a pilot, a remote pilot as well, I can take drone pictures, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. And that's most of the time what I do for realtors is to do the drone pictures.
Yeah, and the drone pictures is just a different view of the home that you normally can't get from driving up to the house. So having drone pictures on every listing makes that listing look better and makes your house look more valuable. So.
Well, especially if you're close by water or parks, different features that you can get from the air to show the proximity of hiking trails, that kind of thing.
Or how big the property is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the property? How big is the property?
Yeah, I can get up to 400 feet high, and then I take an aerial picture of it the property down below. So it's kind of nice
from
that
different
way.
angles and stuff too. So with our conversation today, we're going to talk a lot about how we started our social media network. Now, the social media network that we're referring to is the Helpful Home Inspector Network, which is what you're watching today or listening to today if you're on the listening to the podcast. Okay, but the social media network that we've created around the Helpful Home Inspector and the concept of the Helpful Home Inspector has come a long way since its inception, which would have been January 2002 or 2022.
No, 2022.
2022.
A year ago,
and that was when we sat down and we're like, all right, we had all these ideas, let's do something with it, and so.
Well, and it came because we wanted that education piece of the, home inspection business, the HSH property inspection. And we do like that education piece, and our inspectors definitely educate you when they inspect the property on different things within the house and that kind of stuff. But there's a whole nother education piece of when you own a house. And so, how can we get that education piece out? And so we had this idea of the home inspection YouTube channel, Facebook page, that kind of stuff. So we came up with the Helpful Home Inspector concept.
You and I spent a weekend up north.
We did.
And we had talked about it ahead of time, and we kind of were starting to come up with ideas and what we could talk about, and what would the title be, name of it be, and all that kind of stuff. We had a lot of ideas, and we went up north and we just kind of barricaded in for a weekend, and we just kind of hashed stuff out. And we looked at what we want to do, came up with a plan, and all these other things, and formulated the idea into a working model that we could follow. Okay. And Tammy's right. It was an education piece. It was basically a lot of the stuff that I do on a daily basis, talking to my clients and helping them better understand how to maintain and take care of their home. And me and my guys do, Mike, and we do this on an everyday basis. And so I guess documenting some of that information, getting it out there for other people that may not have been our clients, but still being able to help them. Not only is it helping the public, helping people better maintain and take care of the homes, but it also is a support piece for our business, which is HSH Property Inspection. Okay. And while that is our business, the YouTube channel is not a business by itself. It doesn't make any money. So
no, it doesn't.
We'll get into that, but
at some point it will. We're in it for the long run, but that education piece, I think both of us are very helpful souls and like to help other people and that kind of stuff. And so this is one of those ways that we can do that. And it allows me to be creative, which I enjoy doing.
Well, she likes the editing the videos and the sound elements and all that kind of stuff. And and she's gotten a lot better at it. I mean, Tami came from a position of not ever doing video editing at all, really.
No, I mean, my strength is learning software. So I started out as a business education teacher. So I had to learn the video editing software and all that kind of stuff. I knew some Adobe products, but I didn't know the video editing piece. So it's come a long way from when you watch the very first video compared to now. It's a lot of learning process.
There's a lot of different options with video editing software.
Yeah.
And we looked at a number of them, chose to go with Adobe, and Tammy's kind of tried to immerse herself in it. I was and still kind of I was and still kind of am going out and getting some education about it, because working with a professional that works with Adobe products all the time, Tami could go to the next level with it. But there's a whole time factor that's not figured into that equation. And so Tami pretty much just learned on the go. And so the first video to this video, a huge difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and just watching different videos and what pieces do you like, do you not like, and then learning how to do it and that kind of stuff. And, I mean, it came to a point where we were talking about it and we were talking about what we want to do. We were dreaming kind of and planning how to do this. And then finally we just, after watching a couple of videos and other people and talking with some social media influencers that we know, they're like, just do it. Just jump in and do it. So we did.
Yeah.
And here we are now.
The whole social media network, when we started coming up with the idea, we understood that we're not going to be able to do everything all at once right in the beginning. And that really wasn't possible. But we wanted to take the idea and start someplace. And the idea to start someplace was the studio. And when we came up with the studio idea, we came up with the design, a plan. How can we make this space multifaceted, which we haven't even gotten over to the other side with you guys yet, where the couches and stuff is. You've probably seen it in some pictures.
I have some ideas for this summer, though.
Yeah.
I do have some ideas.
But there's lots of different options on how you can do the whole YouTube thing. I mean, you can do it in a studio. You can do it out in the world, wherever you want to go. You can do it from, some guys do it from their truck. There's lots of different options. But we thought that the studio was best. And it really gave us a focal point that we could kind of pay attention to and get ourselves into. And when we're in this space, we're in the mode of making videos.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with it. We lead very busy lives and do many other things. And so when we're in the studio, we can completely immerse ourselves in this project.
Yeah, and focusing on it. Yeah. Yep. And the thing with the social media network is not only just to help promote our business, help our support our clients, but also support our real estate agents and to promote some of the great businesses and great people that are out there doing work for people. So we get the opportunity to give away a bunch of free marketing and stuff for all of our special guests that come in and talk and stuff, which is awesome.
Well, and you guys get to learn from them too, because not everybody works with the same people that we do, and we get a lot of questions, a lot of clients and people that we haven't done inspections with, but saw our name out on the the internet. You had a call this afternoon, and they're like, "Hey, I see that you do radon testing." Had a bunch of questions. We answered the questions and gave them some resources and that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah,
no matter
and
what.
I was on the phone. We had a washing machine issue this weekend, and we're still dealing with that. But that's a side story. But the guys from Sixth Sense Appliance Repair, talked to them today and they answered some of my questions. Whatever. Hey guys, I had this YouTube channel. You want to come on? Oh, they're like, yeah, that sounds great. And so we're gonna put them up on the website. They've come and serviced our equipment, our refrigerator, and our stove a couple of times. They actually did a microwave for us. Those kind of people really deserve a little bit of help, and they're out there working their ass off every day to fix stuff and help people and get to as many clients as possible. They don't really have time to do the marketing thing and stuff like that. So this is just a way to help them as well, get their good name out there. So there's a lot of good
we just
reasons.
Had Russ on with the mobile repair guys. I mean, we've been working with him for years with our snowblower and stuff.
Yeah, and even though Russ doesn't need any help marketing because he's way too busy.
He's just way too busy. He needs help. He needs employees. So he's like, can I come on and just do a little segment?
He wanted some help getting some employees out there. And do that. But we still got information out of him to help you guys better understand how to maintain and take care of your small engine equipment, which is just a great little resource. The social media network, we have a lot of different branches and pieces of it and stuff like that. The whole goal for us was to jump in and get as deep as we can in a hurry, but we also understood we couldn't get too deep into it. So we have to remain sane. So we started out with just making some little individual videos. Then we started the live show. Then the live show turned into the podcast, and it's kind of
evolving.
It's like a slow snowball rolling down a hill, but it's a slow snowball. It's not a fast snowball. So
to keep Tami sane, I have a motto: simple, meaningful, and manageable. So we keep it simple in the message that we send and making sure that it's educating you guys. Meaningful, in other words, we're giving you meaningful content. I mean, we get ideas not only from the audience, but from things that happen or you guys run across to and as inspectors and that kind of thing, or questions that we get from phone calls. And then I keep it manageable as well for my time. Yes, I know.
That sounds like a note.
I do. I have little notes of things.
Tami is not an impromptu person, okay? So really? Tami's got some notes. I love her. She's
and what's
great.
this?
This is home selling process from last week. No, I'm just kidding. There's some other stuff. But we always try to make our stuff meaningful, and we don't want to waste anybody's time out there with information that is not relevant to anybody. So we always try to bring some good stuff. We do put a lot of thought into it. We send out an agenda to the people that are coming on the show a couple days in advance so that they can be prepared. I mean, it's really about kind of focusing for an hour of giving good information about whatever topic it is we're talking about. And in this case, we're talking about social media network, which, when you look at the way that marketing and things are going these days, everything's hitting the social media. And the harder you can hit the social media, the better. The days of putting your name in the phone book or putting an ad in the newspaper, gone by the wind. I mean, even the days of buying ads on Facebook, I mean, that's even kind of antiquated at this point. You need to almost have your own social media network in order to promote yourself and your business and that kind of stuff. So if you're on Facebook and stuff, you can see people that are companies that are doing that, and lots of good opportunities out there. If you have good content, you have things to say that people are interested in, you can win the battle, Let's get a little bit into this social media stuff. Now we have a number of different branches of the social media network that we have up and running today, that are running now. Okay. We have our YouTube channel, which if you haven't been on our YouTube channel is pretty good. You can go out there. We have 182 videos there. These are all the shorts. We have a bunch of videos. You can access all the live content.
We have different playlists. I tried to put together some playlists as well. So if you go to playlists, I've organized, if you've never visited the channel, but I've organized some of our videos into different playlists. Like if you're selling a home, we have a series there. Yep. JJ Deere has made an appearance. And
lots of good stuff out there.
There's a lot there with
but the YouTube channel is just one piece of that.
Only one piece.
Along with the YouTube channel, it also has the shorts. So when I'm on site and I'm seeing some goofy stuff on site or some cool stuff, like we had the one last week about the tankless water heaters. It's good.
I put that out there.
A positive short. Not everything's negative about homes. But we put shorts out there, and then we also do the live show. And the live show is great because it gives everybody an opportunity if you want to jump in there like Kelsey is and ask questions and to make statements or make jokes or whatever, absolutely. But it gives you an opportunity to also ask experts questions. And we always try to blast out, a couple hours before or a couple days before who's coming on the show, so that you can. And we tell you a week in advance who's coming on the show, so you can kind of put those questions out there so that we can get them answered for you when that person is here, and to kind of maximize their time so that they can get that information to everybody. Because if you have the question, odds are somebody else does as well, and we want to make sure to get that information into your hands. So the live show also throughout the week gets broken up into little shorter versions of these videos about the different topics.
Yeah, that comes out during the next month then.
Yep. So we kind of break those up into pieces so that it's not a full hour-long thing that you have to sit down and watch. But, if you want to, you can. But if you don't want to, we break it up into little segmented sections as well. That'll come out later in the week or in the month. All right. We also then take the live show, make it into a podcast. We also chop that into smaller sections for podcasts as well, which you can get those podcasts anywhere you get your podcasts. And there's more coming online all the time as far as where we can get those podcasts at. Almost anywhere you can think of getting your podcasts at, you can get, go to Alexa, say, Alexa, play the, Home Inspector podcast, or talk to your Google Nest or whatever, and they'll be able to get it for you as well. But lots of ways you can get the information and stuff. We also have our website. The website is a Helpful Home Inspector. All you got to do is put in Helpful Home Inspector. You don't have to, put the www in or whatever, but we got all kinds of good stuff out there on the website. That's where our blog is going to be located. You can get little stories that I write and put out there and stuff, which I've got to get better at doing that more. But that's going to be in our work and things that we're working on. We also have the Facebook page, which you can follow our Facebook page, and we put all our videos and things like that up there, as well as also the alerts to who's coming each week. If there's any special announcements or any recalls or things that we are made aware of, we bring those up on the Facebook page for you and stuff as well. And then there's a couple elements that we have created our pieces, but we haven't really done a lot. I don't do it
on a regular basis. I got to get into a schedule, and that's on me.
Yeah,
I haven't always posted on Instagram. I just haven't done it as on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So I got to put that into the calendar because I can't, and there's probably is a way, I just haven't had the time to figure it out, is can I put it out there and schedule it? Like, with YouTube, I can schedule a whole week if I want to once I create it.
We haven't delved into those products like Instagram, TikTok, and the Twitter. But I've put a couple tweets out, but not. I have to do I have to do better on that. And get more into it and how I can better use that piece, of our network. Lots of options out there. I know a lot of people like Instagram. A lot of people watch TikTok. A lot of people, I know there's controversy about TikTok too, the Chinese and all that kind of business. But that is not for us to mess around with. We're just trying to get information out to people. And the Twitter is just another way to do it as well. But we have those pieces up. It's just that I haven't been able to really do a lot with them yet. So, and we might even run some show polls and stuff through Twitter, which I can
actually run polls through YouTube. I found out now too.
Yeah, there you go. So we get the feedback. Lots of great stuff out there, and this is all the pieces that are make up our social media network. So lots of times these things will intermingle. Like the live show gets made into podcast, and then that also lots of times the topics and what I'm going to do with the blog is that the topics that we're talking about each week is what I'm going to generate a blog post about and stuff. But we also have a number of other interesting things coming up in the future that are going to drive more of those elements as we go, so the
Facebook and the YouTube and the podcast are, for people that are listening on the car ride there, it's really kind of nice to be able to listen to it on the podcast. With YouTube, you get the visual. So what I try and do is in the podcast, if you get the opportunity to listen to the podcast, but there's a part of it that you really want to see, I put the link to the YouTube video down below in the description. And I've had a couple people comment, that was nice because I really wanted to see what you guys were talking about. And then they could visit the video and go to that part and be able to see it. So for the visual people versus, the audio people, it's kind of nice that way. And then Facebook, we're just on Facebook on a regular basis, so that's just natural.
Yeah, Facebook's on my phone, and I'll send a lot of stuff out with that, and if I get a video that we did or whatever that you posted or whatever, and I want to forward, push it through or whatever. I don't push them all through because I don't want to fill up people's feeds on Facebook or nothing. But
Correct.
If it's a good one, why not? And get somebody interested.
Yeah, and then the website. It's always said anytime that you're doing a social media network, having your own website that hosts and has everything in one place, and you being able to own that website is one of the number one recommendations in having a social media network.
Well, that we can edit ourselves, not be reliant on sending an idea to somebody for them to put the thing together. And just I built our website, I made our website, I did everything with it. Yeah. And I have the absolute control over it. Now you can hire somebody to create that, and then you can control it from there if you want. But that's just another expense. And I mean, like we said before, this doesn't make us any money. We get nothing from this. Okay, there's no sponsors. There's no YouTube money. There's nothing. And it was a lot of expense. And I don't need to tell you the dollar figure, but you can imagine buying all the cameras, the lights, the TVs, making the table, all the stuff. It all.
But it makes our lives a little bit easier. And we had some discretionary funds, and we decided to do this education piece.
It was exactly. I think it was a good investment.
And it gives us some fun things to do. And we like educating people. So
Yep. Now, as far like I said, this doesn't make us any money, but eventually, I hope that we're might hoping. Get some sponsors.
That's why we're in the long run.
I'd like to be a Ace Hardware man. So I'm just kidding, or a Milwaukee Tool man, or whatever. If somebody is looking.
You do dream big.
If somebody's looking for a brand representative, sign me up. But it'd have to be something that I agree with. So if you're DeWalt, sorry, I'm not going to be a DeWalt brand ambassador. Not that DeWalt's bad. And I know there's a lot of you out there that might be DeWalt guys. I bleed red though. If Milwaukee came running, I'd be jumping. I'm just saying.
You would.
But we'll see. As far as our special guests go, we do have a lot of different special guests. They are not paid. They do not pay us to come on the show. They are just people that I know personally, that I know will come in and do a good job, not only to be able to give you the information and stuff, but would also come to your home and do a good job if you did need them to come and service something on your home, whether it be put a roof on, whether it be, Kelsey, Milwaukee Tool, or even just like the Sixth Sense guys coming to fix your appliances and things, or Russ coming to fix your lawnmower, snowblower, or whatever it may be. I know these people are going to do a great job for you, and so I don't want any of their money. I want to promote them and give you guys a good resource to get some not only service from, but also good information.
Well, and on our website we do have recommended contractors, people that we know that we've used, we've recommended out to clients that we have, and that kind of thing, that are there to answer your questions and help you as homeowners. Because being a homeowner, there is no perfect house. Let me tell you. You're going to have maintenance, and that's why we're here. That's why we created the network.
Well, and like if you're looking for a fireplace, dude, you can go on there, get up Larry Berg from the Fire Factory. He'd be happy to help you.
Was on the show.
And he wants to come on again. We just got to hit him up with a topic. Now, being the fireplace is more of a winter thing. It'll probably be in the fall when we'll see Larry back again. Looking forward to having him back on the show again. Now, what is next for the Helpful Home Inspector
next?
Network.
You kind of filled me in. Which direction are we going on this one, honey?
Well, there's lots of different ways that the Helpful Home Inspector Network could go. We have already talked about a few of the ideas. Okay, so when we come up with our ideas, you guys, we have sheets upon sheets upon. There's notebooks. There's all kinds. I mean, here's the schematic for the office that we drew up. You know, I mean, Tami and I are planners, and hence her notes and. Yeah, it just is what it is. But the ideas that we all have, and we kind of have to taper them in their realism.
Yeah,
right?
We do need to be realistic. Manageable. And I'm a penny pincher, it's got to be within reason of what we do.
Like my skydiving live show, that she shot that down. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I'd ever get the gall to go skydiving. I don't know if I got.
Well, I have a cousin, Kenny. He's a master. He's a master skydiver.
I don't know.
We could hit him up.
There's these
I could just film it because I'm
strings holding up a lot of body.
Even Aunt Jean did a tandem with him.
Okay, Aunt Jean's maybe gutsier than I am. Let's just go with that. Yeah. So the next step that we're taking is probably going to be product reviews. Yeah. So we already started it, and we did do a couple of those, of product reviews, of unboxings and things like that, of products that we purchased. As far as the product reviews go, they're just going to be things that I use around the house, and sometimes it's not only the thing that I use, but how do I use it? When I think about this, I'm not thinking about the dude out there, and no insult to anybody, but if you've been owning your own home for the last 35, 40 years, you probably have a lot to teach people, but you don't have a way to teach the people. I do. And so if I can, bring out a bottle of CLR and tell people how they can best use CLR in their home, and some of you are like, what the heck is CLR? CLR is a great product that we use in a lot of different areas of our house to clean.
Because we have a lot of iron in the water.
We have a lot of calcium and magnesium in the water. It does a little bit with iron, but it does more for the calcium and magnesium deposits.
Sorry, that's why I'm not the inspector. Yeah. Just
the green and white crusty stuff at your shower heads, your faucets, your aerators, even in your toilet and tank and stuff like that. A great little product for those types of things. But the idea is we're going to bring out these products, show you what the product is, how it can be used in the home, and kind of go over some of the basics of that in short little 2 to 4 minute videos, nothing real long or anything like that. And then we're going to give links to those exact products on Amazon or different places where we can find those products for you, so that you can just order them online. Just click and order if you want. And it's just another way to help and support, especially first-time home buyers or newer home buyers, people that don't have that resource, that guy that's been living in and owning their home for 35 years or whatever. Or maybe they're just embarrassed and they don't want to ask people. If you don't want to ask your dad because you think you're going to sound like a dumbass, watch a video and you don't have to ask anybody. And if you want to, you can always leave comments on our website. We're happy to help you out. But it's just a great resource for you to get some information. And as far as the information goes, it's information that you can rely on, because it's all stuff that I've done, I've used, that kind of stuff. And if I'm getting something new, I'm going to tell you, I just got it. I'll get back to you in a couple months and we'll let you know how it is. And we'll do a follow-up review of the product after I've been using it for a while. Like we had, what was that?
The sprayer.
The backpack
Peter
sprayer.
Was our model. Yep.
Peter was our model. Yeah. Last year we shot that video. We used the sprayer all summer long. It was a great sprayer. And
we did have to switch out the nozzle, which I can't
the different type of nozzle to get the right kind of spray that we wanted. Yeah, we're gonna bring that up for our revisit as one of our product reviews or whatever. It's been a great little tool, and I'll go through some of the tricks and the things that I've found using it to help you, not only when you do buy it that you can understand how to use it, but also use it more efficiently and not have to deal with some of the problems that I had to encounter as I went through it, because I tried different things that I probably shouldn't have put in it. But ultimately I just had to clean it out a little bit more because the product that I put in there kind of formed a film on the inside, and I'll get into that. That's for the product review, people.
Hold that for later, honey.
But that's going to be probably our next step. One of the long-term goals that we have is we're going to be building a barn door up north, right? Possibly.
We're hoping.
Yeah. We're going to be building a barn dominium up in northern Wisconsin, where our secondary home is.
We landed on, trying to do a barn dominium up on our extra. So, basically took over or inherited a piece of property up in Florence, Wisconsin, and love going up there, fishing, ATV, and all that kind of stuff. And then there was a piece of property that presented itself a couple of years ago across the street, giving us river access. And so we're still in the process. We kind of excavated it and that stuff, and I did not create the video for that yet. We were waiting to do a little bit more with it before I started putting videos out about that. But we were like, okay, now what do we put up on this? And there's some restrictions, with it being a different community and that kind of thing of what you can do and can't do. Our original plan, we were told could not happen. So we had to come up with something else. And I think we landed on the barn dominium is where we're going to.
Yeah, the property's up on it's a long hill, okay, looking down onto the Brew River, which is kind of a flowage, It's more like a lake than it is a river. But beautiful views, holy cow, and bald eagles and all kinds of good fishing, and it's just
deer constantly
outrageous.
There was a bear that visited.
There was a huge black bear. I mean, he had to be a 300-400 pounder. He was ginormous. Yeah, we have a big visit. He was probably, his back was probably up just underneath my chest.
Yeah, he was a big guy.
He was a big boy. But I mean, it's something I think everybody would love to watch go up, and it's got to be a better situation for us where we can be up there more regularly to monitor that and videotape that for you guys. But that's going to be another piece of this whole puzzle down the road. We also, Tammy's been dabbling with a North Woods edition.
Yes. I have been.
She loves. So we have our cabin up in Florence, and she loves doing the outdoor stuff up there. So the the outdoor North Woods type of videos. If you have that kind of a property, or if you have a secondary home, or if you just want to talk about outdoorsy type stuff, we're going to talk tractors, ATVs, axe throwing, squirrels, birds. I mean, fishing, mosquitoes. Oh my!
Mosquitoes. But they're different products. We have found some products definitely help with mosquitoes. So again, that's the one thing that we've learned through our own experience. What products work the best.
Yeah, Wisconsin
and Northern Woods. They're known for mosquitoes.
The Wisconsin joke. The state bird is not the robin. It is the North Woods mosquito.
Yeah.
But we found ways to manage those guys a little bit.
We did.
It works quite well. But that's just another one of our avenues. We have a bunch of other different little ideas and stuff like that. I mean, there's so much you can do with all of this, and it doesn't require a lot more stuff. It usually just requires more time and more editing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I could go out today and I could take the day off tomorrow and I could shoot probably 40 videos worth of content. Okay. But there's no way Tami would have opportunity to edit all of those. So we have to kind of time how we do things. Because I don't want a video that's been sitting there for, 4-6 months or whatever, that's it just comes out. That would just be a little weird. So but it just
we're working on getting that momentum together, and that's with any creator. When you're creating different content and that kind of stuff, it's figuring out that do part and what's going to keep it manageable for you without pushing you over the edge where you go insane. So
I mean, and we're workaholics. We like to work a lot.
Oh, we do.
But we do have to draw a line, and we also are big on the work hard, play hard. So we have to make sure we take our play hard time as well. Now we do have a mystery box battle today.
Oh, we're going to do that first. I thought we were going to do one of the questions first.
Well, you want to break it up? We can break it up.
Okay. I would.
All right, Tami wants to break it up. So we have two. We told Tami to be prepared for 2 questions. I think that's what the majority of those little notes over there are all about. She's got this extra smile, grin, like she's got something special to say over there.
It was our ride up to the cabin. He kind of filled me in on what I had to know.
Some heads. Well, she wanted some heads up, so I wasn't just gonna abandon her and throw it at her at the last minute. So the first question we have is, what's your favorite thing about our home, or maybe at least the top 3? I know you said you had a hard time figuring out the top one.
I had a hard time with the third. Oh, no. The top one is the easy one. Okay. It was the third, figuring out the third. The first one is, and people who see me on Facebook, when I get my fountain up and running. So we have a fountain in the back, and I basically call it my serenity place.
It's a nice little waterfall.
I love it. And it's just calming, and I can take the computer out there, and I can work, or I can just sit out there, read a book, and think. And, if I just need that 30-minute mind break.
On the replay, Tami will drop a little video in there with some sound of it. You got these little waterfalls. It just makes a lot of gurgling. It's If you don't like waterfall sounds, it's kind of noisy in the backyard. But if you find waterfall sounds calming, oh my gosh, it's good. But the guy that built this home was a builder in our area here, and he was a mason. And so we have lots of masonry structures in our home and outside. It was all just a part of what he liked and what he did. And so we have all these fancy retaining walls and this fountain pond thing that he built back there. It's a waterless pond thing.
Seriously, it's a good calming after a long day.
Yeah, it's nice. Yes. So I'll give. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Do you have what's yours? I mean, are we going back and forth, or is it just mine?
My favorite feature of our home is the lower level. So we have kind of like a tri level thing, you know. And one of the first things that I did was So when we bought this house back in 2009, televisions were a lot of them were still tube TVs.
They had just come out with the flat screen. If you wanted the
flat screen TV, it was a plasma flat screen TV which had great resolution.
Are we dating ourselves, honey? I feel like we're dating ourselves.
I don't think so. But even today, what I did was relevant. As far as the televisions go, if you wanted to get a 55-inch television, you're going to pay $1,200, $1,500.
Oh, yeah, it was more than that.
It was expensive.
It was a couple $1,000.
You can go to Walmart today and
for someone who's a penny pincher, it was a couple $1,000. So he came up with this idea of a projection screen.
Well,
now then it wasn't a
thing. My thunder.
I know it wasn't a thing, but he convinced me, and actually it was cheaper than getting that plasma TV at the time.
So I ordered a remote control 150-inch projection screen from Office Depot.
Yeah.
And the first one delivered was bent. Sent it back. Ordered. I got the second one.
Okay.
Put it up. Works out great. It's how it happened. And so then I went out and I found, as a teacher, we use projectors all the time. And so I got a 1080p projector from Best Buy on sale, and it ended up costing me less than $1,500 for the whole thing. And so now I have a dark. It has windows, but the screen is right in front of the windows, so it really makes the room nice and dark. I put up. We had a surround sound system from our last house that I put up, and then put up this projector or whatever. And so I mean, we are the place to watch Packer games. We were hosting all the time for Badger games and all kinds of stuff.
Movies.
And movies. Oh my gosh. Me, you and the boys watching movies down there. I mean, that was the best.
When the boys were younger, their teenage years is when we moved in here. They loved the video games downstairs, and they could split the big screen into like 4 pieces, so there could be 4 players, and it wasn't a small section.
If you'd let them go down there and play out by themselves on it, it was 150-inch Call of Duty, all at once, and man,
it was crazy. But they had a good time. I would agree. You know, that after a long day, just to relax down there and that kind of stuff was nice.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm a homeless spectrum, but man, that entertainment space was very nice to have. When we had a situation where the condo wasn't very entertainable, you know, that was not as much fun. Like, we would still all gather together, but it was tight up in that loft or whatever, you know.
Oh, you mean the previous house? Sorry, I read that.
But as soon as we could spread out, we had a love sack, and it was it was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that space is awesome.
Yeah. So what's number 3?
Well, so you came up with that one, and I was going to say I fell in love. Now, keep in mind, we lived in a camper between the condo that he just talked about and finding this house. We lived in a camper with our boys. So it was a family of 4 and a dog.
In my in-laws' backyard.
Yeah, in the in-laws' backyard. For 4 months.
4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
And we were looking at houses, and when I walked into this house, so you have to understand, it has cathedral ceilings, and I was like, oh my, I totally fell in love with the open concept. So I walked in the house and I'm like, this is fantastic.
Great,
so we've had we've had a few parties and, family gatherings and that kind of stuff, and everybody can be together. You know, it's not separate rooms, and, the kitchen's there, the dining, it's just all open, the fireplace with the living room and everything's there. So that would probably be my other place, because in the winter, you can definitely find me in front of the fireplace and sitting right there. I even have a computer desk that I have. The best
Christmas present I ever got was that little pad in front of the fireplace, a gas fireplace for her to sit on in the wintertime. Yeah, she loves that spot. Favorite spot for sure. Yep. All right, here we go. So, our mystery box is the way that this goes, you guys, two competing elements in the same space, not necessarily always construction. But this week we have, a quandary that many a Wisconsin family has to deal with at some point in time. A decision that needs to be made. Yep. And the two topics today that we are going to do battle with, we'll each get 1 minute to convince the audience that we are the premier way of doing it. Mine is camping.
And mine is cabin.
Yeah. So do you buy a camper for your family and go have fun, or do you get a cabin and go cabining-ish?
All right, I'm deferring. You go first.
You're deferring. I didn't know. I even give you the option.
Well,
I'll take my minute. Camping. Camping was a fun thing that we did. We did camp in our in-laws' backyard for 4 months, and thank them for putting up with us at the bottom of their hill. We did a lot of camping at that time too. So we went out. We camped all the way out to DC. We stopped at in Ohio at Cedar Point, awesome place. We're going for some amusement park rides and all that kind of fun stuff. But we also stayed out in DC for a week with the boys and saw all the stuff DC had to offer, which was great. We went out to the Grand Canyon and went camping. We went all over Wisconsin and went camping with the boys.
We followed Route 66, so the boys got to pick different locations they wanted to visit along our path.
You're taking up my minute here, lady. And we stopped on the way home. We stopped in the middle of the mountains in Colorado, and we didn't know we were in the middle of the mountains till we woke up in the morning. There was snow caps up right above our camper and stuff. It was really, really, really cool. We had a 30-foot travel trailer, which was a lot to pull around. And while a lot of people would call it glamping, which it kind of is, it was a little house on wheels. But Tami doesn't do tents.
Tent camp.
We're gonna get her to do it someday. But I grew up tent camping and stuff, and then mom and dad graduated to a camper, pop-up camper, but man, some of those nights around the campfire and the sitting in the bag chairs, just taking it all in, roasting marshmallows, even the rainstorms and you're stuck inside your tent playing cards and stuff, can't beat it. And you can get with camping, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere around the United States you want, and you can go up to Canada. You can even go camp down in Mexico if you wanted to. Camping, you can go just about anywhere and have a good time. With cabin, you're kind of stuck and you got to go to one place and you got to take care of it all the time, and it's expensive.
It is pricey.
All right, take your minute, Tami. Go ahead, take your minute.
So I will say I do miss camping because you get to see different areas and different parts of the country, especially seeing the Grand Canyon. There were some places that we haven't been to, but it's on our list, hopefully upon retirement, being able to go back to camping and traveling a little bit that way. The cabin is nice in the sense of I really don't have to pack anything. Like I can literally get in the car and let's say, and I have had this thought at times where if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, oh my gosh, can I just hit 41 and just head up north? And I'm just going to call Matt and just say, you know what? I'm not coming home. I'll be home on Sunday. Just go to the cabin.
3.5 hour drive.
Yeah, but you know what? Oh my gosh, that's my serenity place. Like, it's nice up there. It's just there's not noise. You can see the sky. It's very, very nice up there. So I do like the cabin for that reason. I don't really have to pack up. It is work though. Having two houses, I do have to say after almost 10 years, it is having two houses to take care of is getting, wow, two houses. But, we love it up there and it is kind of nice that way, but I do miss the traveling. But we are coming into our next phase potentially anyway, where we will hopefully have both of those happening within, I'll say 5 to 8 years is the plan.
We'll see how that goes.
So we'll see how that goes.
Don't get me wrong.
Best of both worlds.
I love the cabin. The cabin's a fun place to go to. It is a lot of work. I mean, every time we go up, there's another project, and there's cutting the grass, and there's fixing the driveway, and there's spraying for the bugs, and there's all the stuff. It's cleaning two more toilets to clean, 3 more sinks to clean, 2 more showers to take care of. I mean, it all is a thing. And then when you go and you have to winterize it, just like you winterize your home, but even more because we're not up there.
Yeah,
and you get so much snow.
Yeah, I get a little worried over the winter.
It's a lot of work. The biggest thing that is a deterrent for me is the expense, the taxes and the extra gas and bill and the water. I mean, it's 3.5 hours away, so there's a travel time involved as well, and a cost that goes along with that travel time. It's the extra insurance and stuff, but. Mm-hmm. The insurance is for a bunch of ATVs and a boat and all the other fun stuff that why we like going up there.
Well, exactly. To hit the river and the boat and do the fishing and just relaxing that way. And but the ATVing, I love the ATV.
We decide we want to go up north. We just go. We don't. I don't need to pack any clothes. All the clothes that I would need are up there. Yep. The only thing I do is throw the golf clubs in the truck and the dog, and we're gone. So and nice. We're ready to roll. But it also. So for me, I got a little bit of prepper in me, so it's kind of like our escape place and all that kind of stuff as well. The cabin is a lot of fun. We have the ATV trails right on our property, and that is fun for bringing kids up there and stuff. Going out and seeing people catch fish and stuff. I mean, some of my favorite times are catching fish with my niece and nephew and taking big pictures of these things.
Exactly. Well, honestly, we have quite a few friends that they wouldn't have had the experience to do the ATVing, and the kids. Oh my gosh, they get out there, and we've seen them from little on, and when they get to be a certain age, they can get on the ATV and go tooling around the yard, and they love it.
Just the boys going out fishing and stuff, or seeing Peter tear ass through the woods after a bear. I mean, whose kid's going to chase after a bear on an ATV? Yeah, my kid. My kid does. And it just is fun. And we get to have a lot of their friends up and stuff too that we get to got to know through all that and stuff as well, which is great. But just some of the times, and up at the cabin, we still get to do the campfires. We still get to play the games and the suitcase game and all that kind of fun stuff.
We make sure that there's game time and
campfire always bring out the fireworks and
I was going to say the fireworks.
At
the campsite, you can't put on the fireworks show like you do at the cabin.
I
mean, your fireworks show is crazy.
It's a lot of fun up there, though. We have a lot of good times, and we've had a lot of great memories with people. While I look forward to being able to go camping again, that was Peter. Well, I look forward to being able to go camping again and the kind of the flexibility. I'm one of those guys, you guys, that wants to go around and watch the Brewers play in every baseball stadium in the United States. See the Packers play in every football stadium. All that kind of stuff is stuff I'd enjoy. I also want to get to all the national parks and all that kind of stuff. So really looking forward to all that in the future. So we'll see how that works out.
We'll come full circle. We'll come full circle at some point.
Yep. But we still don't want to drop this. So when we start doing all those other things, those are just the next branch of our social media stuff, So it'll be great. I mean, if we can go down to the Southwest and start doing some stuff down there with adobe homes and clay tile roofs and some of the
that would be fun.
Different parts of the United States do things differently when it comes to construction and stuff. So kind of experimenting with some of that and bringing some of my Wisconsin lingo down there to them might be a little interesting. We can talk bubblers and fun stuff. But we can talk about how to spell Waukesha and Oconomowoc and all these other Mugwanago. But lots of good stuff, you guys, to come in the future for us. But the choice between a cabin or a camping, you can't go wrong either way. Family time is seeing different parts and areas. Time away to relax and rejuvenate is important. And either way you slice it, it's a great experience to do both. To do either one. Yeah.
You got to take time for yourself and just get away with the family.
Yep, so for sure.
It's awesome.
You ready for the next question?
I am.
All right. Next guest question of the day is, what's it like to be married to a home inspector?
Okay. So the very first thing that came up, came to my mind. Sorry, and you and Mike would definitely agree with this. Is you drive in a car with a home inspector, and as you're driving past locations, they are both extremely observant of roofs and siding.
Hey, we don't judge.
We can't drive. We can't drive anywhere without, maybe we should stop and warn them that they have some shingles off the roof or something. And obviously, he has done that before, where we literally will stop the car and he'll go knock on somebody's door and he'll be like, hey, I'm just letting you know that you have some shingles that are off your roof. So he's very observant about those type of things. But yet we still have a faucet that's not installed. In our house. So I gotta tease him a little bit. So he's always very helpful, and that's the other thing. He's so helpful at lending a helping hand to other people and helping fix things around their house and giving them advice. And that's why we built the channel and that kind of stuff.
Sometimes it's just watching for good content too, because like the one with that roof that has the pine tree growing out of it.
Oh my gosh!
How often do you see that kind of stuff? But granted, I am while every other person that drives down that road probably never notices it, or they look at it like, I'm the guy like, look at this, you're never gonna see this again, so I'm the guy that jumps out and shoots a video on the side of the road about this pine tree growing out of a roof. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. And most of the time when I'm knocking on people's doors, they're not aware of that they have a shingle issue.
Don't.
And
we talked about that in the roofing.
And I don't just stop because they have one bad shingle or anything like that. But if there's like a lot of damage or, in my neighborhood here, if I've been driven past their home for the last 4 months and there's still shingles missing on the top of their roof, they probably don't know. So I stop and I say something and just bring it to their attention. And most of the time they're not aware. And so they're thankful that I stopped and did it, because most people don't take the time to go across the street and look at their roof to see what kind of condition it's in.
Okay. So you're very observant, very helpful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I took the guys up north, we took them out for ice cream, and the thing that we did up there, we played played Spot the Defect, we call it. And so basically we all got our ice cream and we sat at the picnic table. We went around counterclockwise, and you had to sit at the picnic table and spot a defect at one of the houses that are around the area. And the person who first can't spot a defect or repeats a defect that was already said, they're out. And so you try to be the last person alive. And if you're going to be the last person alive, you have to have a defect at the end there. So it was fun. We played it and we went around. We played that game. It probably took an hour because we could see there's so many homes that needed so much stuff or whatever within sight of the ice cream stand, But we're just that's just fun to us, you know what I mean? It's just we're a little different breed, And my house in general is very well kept.
It is. I just have to give you a hard time.
I can tell you that there are 3 things in my home right now that I do need to fix, and the faucet is one of them that I haven't gotten to. The faucet on the jacuzzi tub is another one. I know I haven't gotten to that, and I know.
But we haven't. That's the other thing. That's a good debate. Whether we keep the jacuzzi. Okay.
Save it.
That is a good debate. But you're a good problem solver.
To jacuzzi or not to jacuzzi?
Yeah.
Save it for another day. Save it for another day.
You're a good problem solver about fixing things. Like you always want to fix things.
Whoa.
What?
That sounds like a compliment.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying. Is that a bad
You better be recording this, Peter. All right,
what do you mean
I'm just
by
kidding.
that?
She compliments me a lot.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I am.
No, it's you fix things, and I don't know, it just goes with
I'm
helping.
handy to have around.
You are the handyman. You are the handyman.
When something's broken and you're like, that's why I married you, honey, get on it.
Well, yeah. Well, so even though some of our short videos are like, defects and stuff, there are some out there, like there's a smaller microwave that you can buy. You don't have to buy the big traditional microwave. There's a smaller microwave that's like half the size. It's so nice. And then there's a dishwasher. The other day, he was at a house. He found a dishwasher. I'm like, why don't we have one of those? It's like this little itty bitty thing that goes in the cabinet. I'm like, how sweet is that? So let me tell you, when the cabin's dishwasher goes, I think we might be replacing it with a littler one that he showed.
Gotta get a double
It was
up.
Nice.
There's options.
Yeah. So there are lots of options.
Being married to a home inspector has its perks, you're saying.
It definitely has its perks.
But it also has some annoying things as well.
Well,
like driving in the car.
Honey, I'm sure, and we're not here to discuss me, but I'm sure I have some annoying things
You're perfect.
Oh, there is no such thing as perfect.
You're
seriously.
As close as perfect gets. Didn't you see my Facebook post?
What do you want?
Didn't you see my Facebook post, girl?
I did, but normally when you're saying too many compliments, when you have that many compliments, there's either something you want to buy or something. Right now, we need a wash machine.
Mike, we going gun shopping? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So, but yeah, that's what we got.
All right. So that is what it's like to be married to a home inspector. Yeah. Cool. Now, the tip of the week is our last thing before we start to close this down for today. Tip of the week is if you are going to water your grass, feel free to water your grass. Okay. I know it's really dry up here by us. Our grass is starting to turn brown. I am heavily tempted to water our grass, but I don't want to pay the water bill or get yelled at by my wife for paying the water bill. Or
do I tell the audience? So the one year it was really dry, and you guys, the water bill was double what we normally pay.
Okay, people.
Let me tell you, he did a few extra inspections that I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't show mow all the time. However, just a basic lawn care says it should be at least green. When I walked on the grass, it was crunchy. I felt so bad for my grass.
I know,
and I had to water it, but I did. It was a $300 water bill that month, and I got in trouble for that.
$300 more than we normally pay.
Okay, whatever.
It was expensive.
Are you ranting on me?
Sorry, but you can water your grass. Just put it on a timer.
This has nothing to do with the tip of the week. Okay, so then she steals the time. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you're going to water your lawn, tip of the week. Stop stealing my thunder, woman. Okay, so if you're going to water your grass and you're going to water your grass, you want to water it at dawn. Okay, the grass needs the liquid, and it needs to be able to suck that liquid into its root system. Okay, now the liquid, if you include some fertilizer and things like that, will help it absorb that moisture faster and retain it longer, and it'll then grow faster and stuff as well. However, watering at dawn is the best time, because if you water in the middle of the night, a lot of that water soaks into the soil or whatever and doesn't actually get to stay by the roots of the grass when the roots of the grass are ready to suck it up, which it usually requires daylight in order for the grass to start that kind of water suck up feature. Okay. Watering the grass at dawn. I know I don't expect you to get up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. However, they do sell these little timers you can put on your hose, and you can set it for whatever time of day you want it to go off, and you just need to modify that a little bit with how the sun is operating. Okay. So you really want to, as that sun starts coming up, is the best time to start watering that grass, so that when the sun is up all the way and that grass can really start absorbing those rays from the sun, that it's going to then start absorbing that water into its root system and really give you your best bang for your buck on your water. If you water all night long, or you water at dusk, a lot of that water is going to be gone to waste. It's just going to go into the soil, it's going to evaporate and dry out, and you're not going to have soaked a lot of it into the root system of the grass. So watering in that dawn, that hour or two of dawn time is the best. Also, it's not too hot then either, so the water is not just going to burn off right away. It gives that root system a chance to absorb it and everything. So that is your tip of the week. All right. Now, next week we have Mike Severson coming back in here, Inspector Mike coming back to join the party, and he's going to come back, and we're going to talk to you a little home inspector talk. We're going to talk about what's in a home inspector's tool bag. Now, you guys all know what a home inspector does for the most part. We inspect homes, okay, and we try to find problems with homes and that kind of stuff. We educate people about the home and that kind of stuff. But what are some of the tools that we use to do that, okay? You might be surprised. So Mike and I are going to bring our tool bags in here, and we're going to go through them and kind of break them all out here and show you what we have in our tool bag and answer any questions you might have about those tools and how we use them. We're going to talk to you about how we can find problems with these tools and stuff. Some tools are more useful than others, and we'll tell you what tools we use a lot and what tools we use a little and what tools we have just in case of an emergency. Yes, there are just in case of emergency tools in my tool bag. So, lots of good stuff out there. We're also going to be talking about how to check and verify that your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are not only working, but meet basic expectations as far as safety standards and stuff. And we're also going to talk about the 5 most common safety defects that we find in a home. So 5 most common safety defects. What do you think they are? You got to wait till next week. That's called a tease.
All right.
Tease. I'm a tease. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in today, you guys. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to know when we put out the next one, give me a bell notification. It's a little bell on the bottom right-hand side. And subscribe. You want to know when I'm coming out with new stuff or whatever. You want to be able to check us out and be alerted to new video content coming your way. Subscribe button's really the way to go. Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Remember, the better you take care of your house, better it's going to take care of you. Have a good one.